not the easiest guy to follow. So as a result, I knew Dennis would say something amazing, so I made mine rhyme a little bit. Not properly, just like free versey. And it's too long. But like most of what I do, it makes up in internal rhyme what it lacks in brevity. And sorry, it's a bit actor-centric, but I know a lot of you are actors, and I knew Dennis would talk about the other stuff. So this is a poem I wrote yesterday called You've Always Wanted to Be an Actor. You've always wanted to be an actor, and your friends and you say to each other, I want to act because I think storytelling is vital to culture, or I want to act so I may hold up to society a mirror. And there's truth in that, but let's be honest, you really want to act because it's really fun and you'd quite like being clapped. So you go to drama school and you learn about shedding your skin and inhabiting your something, and you get your head screwed up by Stanislavski and then recalibrated by Mamet or the other way around, and you learn to scuttle across a stage like a lizard and to caw like a crow and to let yourself go and to sing and tap and cry on cue, and you make all your mistakes and have sex with your classmates, and then you stop doing that and you learn to find the rhythm of the bard so every I am shines but doesn't creak, and you work really hard and change the way you speak, and you become slowly aware of these relentless waves of self-confidence and self-loathing that come and come and come, and you think the waves will smooth out when you have success, but they don't and they won't, so the only solution is to worry about them less, just by the way. So you graduate drama school, and that's amazing, brilliant, amazing, and as you should be, you are proud, and at the graduation ceremony you watch two clowns standing on the set of their mutual fluke. reading speeches that they wrote the day before, and you think if these idiots can succeed, anything is possible. Which is true in a way, but not in a way that should necessarily give you confidence due to the randomness of, well, Dennis, look at him. God does clearly play dice with the universe. And so off you go and you get an agent, yippee, and let's say, just hypothetically, you're really good looking, you're beautiful. And you've been blessed, let's say, with hot genes, you stay slim easily, you go to the gym easily, you have those well-spaced eyes and high cheekbones and one of those lovely big mouths that kids seem to have these days. And you've found that if you stand still in front of a camera and look just past the shoulder of the DOP and think about a cup of tea or a tricycle, and the light hits your well-spaced eyes and your high cheekbones just perfectly, then we, the audience, will read into your stillness, grief, or pride, or piety. Wow. And you're also an amazing actor, a truthful, intelligent actor, hardworking and skilled, etc. But that's not so much the point, because beauty. So you get a role in an indie film. I mean, first you do an advert for cheese in a co-op at the King's Head, which, although you don't know it at the time, will be the last theatre board you ever tread. And then a guestie on Coronation Street, yay! And then an arc on Holby City, hooray! And then a supporting role in an independent film that ends up at Cannes and is seen by a Rudin or a Weinstein and gets distributed across the USA. And so you sign with an agent at CAA and a manager at, I don't know, somewhere, and they tell you that you should move to LA because you'll have more opportunities here. But it's clearly because they won't get paid if you're doing a play at the fucking National, will they? Just by the way. So you do. You move to LA and you're sharing a bungalow in Silver Lake with a Canadian actress who thinks everything happens for a reason, which you also believe because no one has ever pointed out to you that that is a stupid thing to think. Just by the way. And as is the tradition, you struggle for a year, coffee shop job between auditions, and then, yes, you get a well-paid job playing a sexual assault victim on 2 episodes of season 25 of Law & Order SVU, and you buy an SUV and you move into a mid-century modern rental in West Ho with a friend of a friend who has a band, 4 banjos, a cellist, and a DJ, who once played at Coachella, and a YouTube vid of one of their audience members choking on a corn dog went viral, so now they're quite popular. And then, yay, during your second pilot season in LA, when you're missing the drizzly comfort of the UK spring and your mum's on the phone telling you to come home, darling, just come home, you audition for a new NBC dramedy for a character who doesn't say too much in the pilot, but great script and 16 great writers, and they'll definitely write more for your character after the pilot. So after 6 callbacks and weeks of anxiety, and after being filmed with the star to test your chemistry, you get offered the part. And you, little you, bullied in high school for having spotty skin, told by your primary teachers that you need to pull your head in and stop showing off, little you who lived with 4 people in a flat in Wood Green and worked on your craft, and you didn't give in. You have a role in a fucking US network television pilot, and you do not hesitate to sign it. The contract that says if it goes to series, you will be committed 39 weeks a year for up to 8 years. And yay, they make the pilot, and it gets picked up, and it goes to series, and so your week starts with a 4:30 a.m. pickup on a Monday, and the crew is great, and the cast is great, and although half of your day is spent in your trailer, and it's much more boring than you'd foreseen, you're in pretty much every scene, generally doing something with a computer / Bunsen burner / non-specific screen in the background, so you're always on set, and inevitably by week's end, production has fallen behind 6 hours, so you don't actually get off set for your weekend until 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and you sleep all Saturday, and on Sunday, you learn your sides and reset, rolling, speed, and action. And that's fine, because the series is a hit. And you're on the telly, and the newspapers in the UK write about you saying something you don't remember saying, and the Daily Mail comments on your hair and your abs and your ass. And when it goes to season 2 and the ratings go higher, you get a pay rise, and now you're making £1 million a year, and you are proper famous. And you are friends with proper famous people, and you know Sandra and George and Bono and Elon Musk. And you buy a fenced-in house in the hills with a pool, and you're single, but, that's cool. You find it hard to meet people because, they come to you with so many assumptions about who you are, about your hair and your abs and your ass. And then after season 3, when the show's not quite so hot and the ratings start to drop, the network gets the writers to simplify the script, cut expenses, cut the complex bits, and on they forge, churning out the eps, motivated by nothing but. And every year the ratings go down a bit, the show loses its edge a bit more, the ideas get a bit more repetitive, and your character is saying the same shit, and you can't remember the last time you cared about a line, the last time you expressed an idea that had any value whatsoever. And one Sunday, you have some of your famous friends around for a drink, these beautiful, kind, generous Americans. You do adore them, but whom you always feel you can't quite reach. Personalities like a leftover pudding that has cling wrap pulled so tight across the bowl that you don't notice it's there at all until you go to dig in and your spoon bounces off. And so you're sitting by your pool with these kind cling film friends, and the thought enters your head that you'd really like to walk down the street to have a drink at a pub, but you can't because you're too famous to leave your house. You can't leave your house. This is not a warning, to be clear. If that becomes your story, you'll be sweet. I wrote that because in 10 years, when those of you who don't end up being Knightley or Laurie or Cumbers, when you have done 100 jobs and like the boxer, you carry the reminder of every glove that blah, 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 and you've borne the slings and arrows of outrageous tweets. I hope you remember that in our game, success doesn't mean what they think it means. And even if you get the type of success that they think is success, it won't necessarily be for the best. The people I knew at your age, the folks with whom I built sets and rigged lights and acted and drank and dreamed, they are everything. Mike is one of the finest drama teachers you would ever meet. Jenny gathers the memories of the elderly and turns them into plays, and Brian makes puppets, and Christine runs a theatre company that tells stories of refugees, and Tommy is a vet, and Iggy makes music with Aboriginal elders, and Trossie is a mum, and Justo has 1 million children and paints and is a barrister. Oh, you should hear his voice. It'd be like being defended by Lear. And Toby's a pirate, and Beck runs an events company, and to state the obvious, I observe among my friends no correlation between wealth and happiness, or fame and happiness. The happy ones work hard, generally, and they are generous, generally, and they generate, generally, valuable ideas, which is your job, just by the way, to put into the world valuable ideas. So look for stories that are worth telling and lessons that need teaching, and tell them and teach them and stay passionate, and I'll see you at the pub. Lots of love.